Today we'll have several dignitaries present. We'd like to introduce them now. Of course, the co-founder and promoter of this event, Mr. Emmett Hahn, Mr. Brad Beasley with the Tulsa Sports Commission, Mark Andrus, CEO of the Tulsa Fairgrounds and Expo Square, Amanda McConnell with the Tulsa Regional Chamber of Commerce, John Smoligo, Tulsa County Commissioner, Chairman of the Fair Board, and Fred Perry, Tulsa County Commissioner. And also, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce our drivers today, Mr. Kyle Larson, defending three-time repeat champion Kevin Swindell, and three-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion Tony Stewart. Right now, we'd like to hand it over to our dignitaries so they can say a few words.
I'm John Smoligo. Just want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for being here as we kick off the Chili Bowl Nationals again, and want to say a big thank you to Emmett for returning to our facility here at Expo Square. We always look forward to your event each and every year, and look forward to you returning for many years into the future. This year our staff has worked very closely with Emmett and all of his staff in trying to make some additional improvements with air circulation, things like that, some of the behind the scenes efforts that we have, and hopefully that those improvements and other cooperative ventures that we have will help secure this event here in Tulsa for many years to come. Emmett, again, thank you very much, and thank you to the drivers. I know that's why everybody's here, so let's get it over to them.
And right now we'll open it up to questions to the drivers.
We forgot Mark, our fair manager, back here, and they was talking about our air quality here. Just about a week before Christmas, they installed some fans down here at the east end or the west end of the building, and installed 20 of them down here at the west end. We ran our shootout a couple weeks ago with almost 1,000 vehicles in here, and I talked with Shannon and Don, their air people here this morning. And the CO level, our carbon monoxide level in here is down. It's more than 30% less than what it was last year. So it's a lot better. And we was pretty good last year, but these fans has done an outstanding job in here. And I want to thank Mark, our commissioners, and all that. Now then you can talk to these boys.
All right, anybody with questions for the drivers?
Out of the 276 that are in this, how many actually have a realistic chance, for all you drivers, how many of them actually have a realistic chance? Are there 20, 30, 40 cars that, given the right circumstances, could win here? How many people actually have a realistic chance, you think, in this race?
Talk to us, Kevin. You passed most of them.
I was gonna say about 40 or so have a shot at making the feature, but not many have a shot at beating the Swindells.
I don't know. I mean, there's probably 15, 20 that are truly, really quality cars, I think, you know, and then there's a luck factor that obviously comes into play, and just where everything plays out. But I mean, once you break it down, I mean, your cream rises to the top for the most part on the prelim nights, and you know what you got from there.
All right, well, thanks, guys.
That was easy.
Your year this year is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, my year was good. Again, won, races in all different types of race cars again, and I just got back from New Zealand yesterday, and had a really good trip there. I won all 4 of the international races, so that went well, and I think I won 29 or 30 races this year and ran 123 races, so it was a pretty good year.
Either one of you guys, it's been a long time since somebody not named Swindell won this thing. Would you like to change that? Sure. Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure Kyle and I just came to run second. We thought, why break a string of a good thing? That's what everybody's here for. It's then this is obviously the biggest race of the year, and it's the first race of the year for the midgets too. So you get everybody you get the best midget drivers from across the country, the best sprint car drivers, and it's big bragging rights for the whole year if you win. And to do what Kevin's done the last 3 years, I mean, it's phenomenal to do that. So if you're the guy that gets lucky enough to beat those guys and win the thing, it's not only that you won the Chili Bowl, but you also stopped a reign that Kevin's had. So there's a little more pride involved if you can beat him this year.
This question is for all three of you guys. A lot of people talk about Chili Bowl luck. Is it more prevalent here than at other events, considering the size of the track, the number of cars, formats, things like that, than it may be somewhere else?
I think with the quality of cars you have, it's you're, like you say, you got a record number of entries. You got almost 280 cars, and you're trying to make a 24-car starting field. So I mean, you pretty much have to have everything go well. It's not so much that you have to have it go well. You just can't have bad luck. But if you have one bad event, you got a big road to climb and a lot of cars to pass to get to that 24-car starting field. So I think just because the sheer number of entries, I mean, a typical Saturday night, if you're in the top 50% of the field, you're in the A main. But I mean, you got to be in the top 10%, actually top 8 or 9% if you're really going to do the math right to just make the A main, let alone have a shot to win it.
What about you, Kevin?
I mean, it's more of just you can't create your own luck. You're kind of at the will of what somebody else is going to give you. And if somebody wants to turn you around or turn you over, I mean, it's not hard here, and it's simpler than it is at most places, and it's a lot harder just to get away from people, even if you're better than them, and you show up and draw a big number, and the track's narrow, and you get caught up in somebody else's mess and knock the front end out of the thing. I mean, you're buried from the first lap you run under green, for the rest of the week. So it's just, I think that's the luck part, is just not getting caught in somebody else's disaster, really. What I've been able to do the last 3 years is kind of prove that there is some factor that you can take into your own hands and make it work. But the first year I won this, I was sitting in 1 and 2 on the first lap of the heat race with a flat left rear, and it just happened to take long enough that I got the thing changed and got back out. And that saves your weekend, really. But I mean, that's all it takes, is just one little incident. I mean, even just having a bleeder stick on the last lap of a heat race and the thing go flat and whatever. So it just comes down to not beating yourself more than really anything.
How about you, Kyle?
I got a question to Kevin. You and your dad got new cars this year?
No, same car.
Same car?
They're both like 8, 9 years old now.
Somebody told me that Sammy built 2 new cars, and I thought, why would you fix something that's not broke?
They got it's a new steering box and a new rear end and a new body, but the rest of it's the same. Okay. Ain't broke, don't fix it.
And has your dad heard about it for the last 364 days? Who won this the last time around?
He knows.
Tony, for people who don't know a lot about auto racing, what is it about this event that keeps bringing you back? Because obviously you've won it before, but yet here you are once again.
Bragging rights. I mean, it's the biggest dirt race of the year for the Midget. So, you got dirt late model guys here. You've got the sprint car drivers. You got all the midget drivers here. I mean, it's the only time all year you're going to get all these guys in one place. And it's, I've always said it. If you only had to pick one event that you could go to for the year, this is the one you'd want to come hang out at for a week. It's you have the most fun that you have anywhere all year here.
How different is this? Is it like any other thing that you'll do all year, or is this just different? I mean, if you for the
They're not going to run any more indoor races this year, probably. No. Not in NASCAR, so this will be the only time we do it here. So.
I mean, for the non-avid race fan, though.
If you're a non-avid race fan, you need to get your ass in the seats up here and enjoy it like everybody else is. Whatever you do, if you don't come here, I don't know what life you have, because you obviously don't have a quality life if you don't come watch the Chili Bowl Nationals. So.
Good boy.
Make the check payable too.
Check is in the mail.
He's only been training me to say all this for 12, 13 years now, so I finally got it right.
Emmett, can you talk about the importance of having like these 3 guys come back every year? I know Stenhouse was here last year, but Tony comes back and they make plans to come here every year. How big is it for you guys as they go off into other racing endeavors to come back here every year?
We've been fortunate enough for the size of this racetrack to have it racy most of the time, where you got a top and bottom groove. We got some decent clay here, and when you have drivers like this, and there's Lanny and I was talking this morning, I said there's champion drivers out there that we don't even know is here. You know, and when you have that quality of drivers, the quality of cars we got, the time of year, get to park all your rigs inside. I'd like to say that we were smart promoters. We're just luckier as hell.
Like, I spent 3 days here last week in a mini sprint. Something to do.
Yeah. You know, having won this so many times now, and you go against so many different drivers of different types of racing, what does that do for your confidence as a driver?
I mean, it helps to win anything, you know, whether me and him go beat on each other at the go-kart track or whatever it may be. You know, if you outrun somebody, then, you know, it's good for you. But, you know, a place like this with guys like this and basically being, you know, the best of the best of anything that can get in these cars, then, you know, it helps a lot. But, you know, anywhere you go is a different animal and a different thing, and you start over kind of.
Tony, you run, I don't know how many dirt races last year, and from my conversation with you, you're going to ramp that up even more this year. Talk about that and keeping your wheels sharp and your schedule when it comes to driving the dirt car.
Yeah, we had a pretty ambitious schedule last year. We ran over 90 races total, you know, and about 45 of those were wing sprint car races. So we're still trying to do as much of that as possible. We had 2 cars last year. We've got 4 for this year for me to run. So you know, we're trying to put a little more effort into it than what we had last year. So you know, we doubled the amount of races from 2 years ago to last year. I don't know that we'll get to double it this year, but if we can. You know, I set 40 as a goal last year, and, you know, if I could make 40 again this year, I'd be happy. I'm going to try for hopefully around 50 this year, though. So it's a pretty ambitious schedule.
Do you find it keeps your wheels sharp even when you get over there on your Sunday job? I mean,
it's the same but different, but it doesn't hurt. I mean, it's anytime you're in a race car, it's you know, you're still trying to figure out what to do to make a race car go fast. And even though they're total opposite ends of the spectrum of how they work, it's you know, still keeps you sharp as a driver rather than just racing one day a week.
One of the questions, I grew up, I was a fan of A.J. Boyd. He was my man when I was growing up, and there was nobody bigger than him. I know he's one of your guys. This guy down here on the end, Kyle Larson, well-rounded driver. Seems like no matter what he gets in, he's got that same formula that maybe that you and A.J. had. Can you speak of that just a little bit?
He's just shorter and skinnier. So the rest of it, he's following suit and probably exceeding what both of us did in our careers. But you know, and both of these guys up here, I mean, they both got the talent to do this. It's just, you know, it's racing. Even though racing keeps growing, the good opportunities aren't growing with it. They haven't, you know, race car drivers in the United States, the number has doubled over the last 10 years, but there's not twice as many cars starting EJ main each week. So it's forcing guys to be really, really good at what they do, and we're lucky to be sitting with 2 of them that can do that up here.
Finally, talk about truck race at Eldora. I mean, you're the dirt ambassador down there, it's down south, so let's kind of talk about that.
Well, I knew we must be doing something really good, because when Emmett started talking about it, he had drool coming out of his mouth. So I figured that was probably a good sign. But it's I'm excited about it. I mean, we know we've got late model drivers, sprint car drivers that are working on rides right now. So I mean, it could be one of the most diverse fields that NASCAR's had at a single event in a long time.
Yeah. I think we're gonna build one. Rico needs one. Yeah, we need to get Rico a truck.
Rico done what?
So we need to get Rico a truck for Eldora.
The dash is too bad.
Raise the seat up.
I never thought we'd ever see a midget in a midget, but we saw that, and if he can drive a midget, I guarantee he can drive a stock car. So he can pretty much drive anything you give him.
Just a question for all 3 of you. Now that you've all had a chance to get on the track and feel how the cars are working out, anything that you've noticed that you're going to have to go back and change now before we go into the qualifying nights?
I went out early when it was really, really tacky and we were way too tight. And then we went out in our Race of Champions car a few sets later, and track was a little bit slicker, but still had some moisture on the exit of the corners, and I felt like we were pretty good. So Keith Coons has made some great calls, and I think we still need a little bit more work to get the cars stable, but I think we're pretty close.
How did your hot lap session go, Kevin?
Mine sputtered the first time. I mean, seems like every time we have a little gremlin when we get here with Esslinger, but he gets it fixed up, and it ran the second time. So I don't really worry about what I got. I've always thought I was junk when I practice here for whatever reason, and we're never that great until it gets slicker. So I just take what I get for now and worry about it once we get time to the big race.
I think the Swindells play games with everybody and practice not so great, so everybody thinks that they aren't going to be good, and then they're just as better than they were the year before when they comes their prelim night.
Kyle, can you talk a little bit about that? You probably had as good a year as anybody did last year in this race. I mean, you win your preliminary night, and you still fell a little bit short of Kevin. What is it that those guys are doing, and what do you guys have to do to be able to get over that hump and get that golden pillar?
Well, they're both really good drivers, and Sammy's really smart when it comes to setting up a race car, and so those two combinations are really good. But last year in the feature, I didn't feel like we were good at all, and we ran third, and yeah, they were way ahead of us, but kind of seem out there. So that gives me a little bit of hope for this year, and I think we'll be a lot better.
Kevin, are you comfortable having a bullseye on your back? Everybody shooting for you. Obviously, people look at you favorite going for 4 in a row. Do you feel any pressure there?
No, I mean, last year it's just, most of your nervous is just getting through those prelim nights. It's not Saturday night you worry about. It's just, surviving and getting there. And I wasn't, I really didn't worry about anything until I drew that one Friday night. And then it was like, this is real again. So it's, that's the only part that's tough. And, these cars are, we've got them to where they seem to get easier to drive a little bit every year. So I think last year was an easier 50 laps or 55 laps than the 2 years before that. So the biggest thing is just getting yourself started up front. Because I won that thing from 10th 2 years ago, and that was, I don't know if you could ever do that again.
So you never want to bank on the provisional getting in?
No, not at all. I mean, with a lot of the right circumstances. I mean, Dad got to third there a couple of years ago, but it's, you'd have to have, really racy racetrack. Like 2 years ago was a little narrower and kind of just one lane around the tops, and that made it tougher. And then, last year I think wasn't quite wide enough to really drive through. So, you'd have to be like in the right spot, not get anybody's mess, and have a lot of things go your way.
Looking forward to your opportunity down south.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. It's hard to get something going down there, as anybody's noticed the last 4 or 5 years, and just tried to hang in there and keep myself relevant, and finally somebody noticed.
Tony, how difficult is it to see guys like Kevin that are struggling to break in down south? They've got the talent, but we all know it's a money-driven business down there. We see a lot of talented drivers that might never get the opportunity. What can we do to get them down there? Is there anything?
I wish there was an easy solution. I mean, it's like we said. I mean, there's 1 million drivers in the United States, and probably 800,000 of them want to be one of 43 guys starting the race on Sunday. So it's hard to get that opportunity. And there's a lot of guys a couple years ago that got opportunities that didn't make the best of it. So it's getting the opportunity, and both of these guys have got that now. Now they got to make the best of it, and that's how you'll keep that ride.
Kyle, have you talked to Dylan since that little fiasco down there?
No.
Why did he wreck you? Killed your points race and everything.
I know. No, I haven't talked to him, but I apologize on Twitter. That should mean more than anything.
Send him a Facebook message?
Yeah. No, actually, I did get a message from this girl. I think she's got to be.
Easy where you go with
She's
this.
got to be a little cuckoo, but she messaged me and was like, "Thanks for wrecking my ex-boyfriend." Blah. And yeah, here I'll show you. She's nuts. She's sending another one today.
Another one today.
This is their younger generation.
I'm at a loss.
Look at this.
She's crazy.
Jesus.
You wrecked my ex-boyfriend last night. That was awesome.
Who was this?
Well, I'm not gonna say her name.
Oh, she liked it. Oh, she said it was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So it wasn't me.
Sent me your number and
Yeah.
We got to get out of here.
I got to go
Cut.
sweep the floor or something.
Yeah.
Next
Guys,
question.
we appreciate you coming out. If you got any questions, these guys here, you catch them before they get out or go to their car or whatever. But again, we appreciate the press, county commissioners, Mark, everybody here that's made this thing possible. And again, we appreciate it. And I hope our security's tight enough where we don't lose money this year.